Hello, I'm Jane Goldman. I've always been fascinated by psychic phenomena and the paranormal, and I am open-minded. But I'm also one of those kind of people who has a hard time believing in things if I haven't seen them for myself. So that's why I decided to take a very hands-on approach to my investigations into the paranormal. I've asked the experts whether they can teach me 10 different skills, and I've got just a month to learn each one. At the end of the 4 weeks, I'm going to be tested. What have I let myself in for? Tonight, I'm on the trail of ghosts. I've never seen a ghost. I'm not even sure I believe in them, but I can feel my spine tingling already with the thought of my first ghost hunt. These are members of the Bassett Law Research Group. They're ghost hunters, and they've agreed to give me my first lesson in ghost hunting.
Right, so you're all ready for an exciting night?
I am, and I've got my layers on because Sandy won't get chilly.
Hopefully we'll get a few things happening tonight.
The group had driven down from Doncaster with cars crammed full of equipment to Poole in Dorset. The venue for tonight's ghost stakeout is the Crown, a pub with a reputation for spooky, supernatural and downright scary happenings. The group has investigated around 40 hauntings since its formation in 2001. Despite the Heath Robinson mix of high-tech and lo-fi equipment, they have yet to capture a fully functioning ghost on film. But they have successfully taken hundreds of pictures of what are known as orbs. These little balls of light are said to accompany hauntings, and some believe that they're the first stages of ghost manifestation. Ghost hunters regard capturing an orb on camera as proof of a haunting, so the presence of orbs in the photos the team took in their preliminary investigation convinced them that the Crown was worth a closer look.
It's always important to do a preliminary check because when we get reports of hauntings, you could go there and find out it's nothing more than a new central heating system that's gone in, and all the creaks and groans of the pipes and the rattle and bang about.
Have you had that happen?
Once, yeah.
So you felt this a bigger room for the
base camp, yeah. It's like a central point where all the activity around this particular pub is occurring.
What are we setting up here, Dave?
Right, I'm setting up monitors and tape recorders, video recorders, so we can record through the cameras a variety of activity.
And you're going to set up cameras in other locations in the pub?
That's correct, yes. Now, the history of the pub is, as you know, that there are two, or supposedly two deformed twin girls, which were locked away in an attic bedroom here.
It's a very unpleasant story.
Oh, yes. They were very ill-treated and abused.
Yeah.
What we're going to do, we're going to actually set a trigger object up, which is dusting the area with talcum powder tonight. And we're going to set down, because it's two little girls, I'm going to set down a little girl's toy in the area where the room is where the children are supposed to be, with the powder, to put the toy down, see if we get the movement.
Time to set up the equipment in the rooms where paranormal activity is most expected.
Yeah, when you've got the red light working, can you kill the big light in the roof behind you?
All right, Glenn, if you can turn them off, mate.
First, we go up to the hayloft where the group had previously photographed several orbs. Was this room connected in some way with the twin sisters? So what did we put up here? Next, we placed an infrared camera and trigger objects in a room with a very strange story. In the 1960s, an extra room was discovered by accident by builders doing renovation work. The room had a window, a fireplace, but no door. Could this be the room where, according to local legend, the hunchback twins were locked up and then murdered? So you're putting the trigger object there and drawing around it. This room does actually have a really horrible atmosphere. This is not me claiming to have any special powers. It's when you come up here, it's really creepy. I mean, maybe it's partly because, having been told the history of the room, it's such a nasty story, and this is such a horrible looking little room, especially when you bear the story in mind. With all the equipment in position, the ghost hunt was ready to begin.
So we're all set, so all the equipment's sorted.
Yep. Everything's ready.
We're ready to go.
We're ready to start now.
Fantastic.
All we need now is to kill the lights.
By 11:30, the ghost watch was in full swing. All the potential ghostly locations were being monitored, and in the control room, we didn't have long to wait before the appearance of our first orb.
Ready? I'm going to come across this way.
Now they move with...
There.
Oh my God!
It's two.
Was it two? Was it two?
Yeah, do it again.
There you go.
Two.
It's got prominent movement.
Yeah.
It came in a direction and then turned the corner and came round.
That's it.
So that is prominent movement, you see. That is,
Yeah.
that is a ghost, a spirit, first stage manifestation.
It's certainly not something you see every day.
I was intrigued and excited, but accepting the orbs as ghosts required a leap of faith, and I still wasn't sure whether there are any spirits in the pub besides the ones behind the bar. Another approach to finding out might be mediumship. Sandy's a trance medium, and the idea is that she provides the link between the group and the entities they're trying to contact. Maybe she could reveal more about the twins.
If it be your will, not ours, that you are able to connect our
The Bassett Law group is unusual because they're one of the few groups to use seance sessions, which many mediums consider far too dangerous.
Come to us. What are you feeling, Jane?
I'm not sure.
It's all right. Nothing at the moment. There's nothing to feel, right? Okay.
Sandy's going into trance. Hello, can you hear me? Can you tell us your name, please? You're not quite in yet.
No, he's not in there. He's not in there. Just give Sam Lulu speak.
Hello, Lulu.
Hello.
Are you all right, darling?
Yeah.
Who's coming through? Do you know?
I don't know yet.
All right.
Sandy had begun by channeling Lulu, one of her spirit guides. Apparently, Lulu is in fact Princess Louise, one of Queen Victoria's daughters. Spirit guides are said to help other spirits speak through the medium, and tonight it appeared that someone who knew the twins was trying to come through.
I used to come here.
Did you? Did you come here a lot?
I used to come here a lot, yeah.
Can you remember, or did you ever hear about the two little girls that were locked away upstairs?
They're little.
Yes.
They're ones with difference.
Yes. Did you ever see them?
Sometime.
Can you tell me what happened to them?
Beaten, tortured, till they had got red wheels on their back.
After the séance, Sandy was exhausted and needed to take a break. I thought it'd be a good opportunity to head for the bar, and then something strange happened.
I just had a slightly odd thing happen, which I was just standing here reading the. There's I don't know if it's like a little article from a local paper or something about the place, and I thought Peter, the director, was winding me up because I felt someone kind of brush against my skirt and sort of in a sort of way that you might if you were winding someone up. And but he's completely denying it, and And witnesses who were standing right next to him said he definitely didn't do it.
It wasn't Peter, but was it just my imagination? Was I making something out of nothing because of where we were? Would I even have noticed if I wasn't on a ghost hunt? While I'd been in the bar having my terrifying brush with the supernatural, the rest of the group had headed off upstairs to start another séance in the old hayloft. Seems the spirits have decided this time not to speak through Sandy, but to communicate by wobbling a table.
Are you a male spirit?
It's tilted. I don't know whether it's completely elevated or it's... It looks like sand.
Look at that. My goodness.
The table was thrashing about in a pretty spectacular way. I wasn't sure what that had to do with the ghost twins. Were they making it move? Was something else going on?
You are contrary.
Though the table had been jumping around all over the place, it stopped as soon as I walked into the room. What did I do? Was there something about me? When I joined the circle, the table just sat there. I confess I did try cheating, just for interest's sake. I wanted to see if I could make the table move with a bit of surreptitious nudging and pushing.
Is it vibrating? Because I believe it is him.
But I couldn't. Even though I tried to wobble the table back to life, I failed. The jumping table was the last weird event of the vigil. The rest of the night was spent checking cameras and equipment and taking readings all around the pub. Nothing else unusual happened, and all the trigger objects stayed firmly in place. After my experience in Poole, I had some questions that only an expert could answer. So I went up to Liverpool to meet Kieran O'Keefe, a parapsychology research fellow.
So Kieran, Poole was like my first experience of any kind of, I don't know what you call them, ghost stakeout. Or...
Yeah, ghost hunt or ghost vigil if it's overnight, ghost investigation, lots of different names.
And you've been on loads of this? Just
Yeah, it's not
or...
just a case of a ghost vigil where you're waiting overnight for something to happen, which is very frustrating.
Yeah.
It's also experimental stuff, looking at the idea of suggestion and how that might affect people's report of apparitions and that sort of thing.
We had a wobbly table.
Right.
We had quite a dramatically wobbly table, which I actually unfortunately didn't witness myself because as soon as I turned up, it stopped moving.
But what you have to think about is if it's not a conscious movement, perhaps it's some sort of subconscious movement.
We've got Stevie, who's on our crew, who's over there, who he was filming the table wobbling.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'd basically the table just moved constantly.
Right.
And I was filming obviously, and I tried to see what if anyone was pushing it, and I couldn't see anything. So I was quite blown away by that. Tried to look if they were moving their hands or any knee movement or any foot, and I couldn't see any of that. And tipped up.
Oh.
And then sort of back by itself.
You are contrary.
Right.
And the momentum it was going, I would have thought it would have toppled over, but it seemed to stop and then come back by itself. So I couldn't explain that either. That's when I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
If it's not a level table, if it's not a heavy table,
It was a kind of wobbly
Yeah, it was kind of an older table, yeah, definitely.
Oh,
It's sort of just a round circular,
Kind of
older
wobbly
style.
anyway.
very uneven
Yeah.
floor.
Right.
So
Yeah, definitely.
So you bring all of those things in together and it kind of
so you can
throws
get
a
an
little bit about.
extraordinary...
Also,
yeah.
it was dark, I will admit.
It was dark.
I mean, it was dark.
Right.
So we had infrared lights, basically. So I was looking at it through red light, really.
So it wasn't perfectly
no,
clear as you
no.
as you would have wanted it to
No,
be.
no.
Right.
We never were able to verify the story of the twins. The only corroboration we got was from trans medium Sandy. Did this count?
What the trance medium needs to come up with for it to count as evidence, for me at least, is some sort of information that's not available in the public domain, something
and
she
not
hadn't
available
heard.
to her. Yeah.
Yeah, something she hadn't heard about before.
So I guess unless stuff is verifiable, you don't really get... Because, I mean, if stuff is said that you couldn't possibly
There's
verify
no way
anyway.
you could check.
I was interested to hear Kieran's thoughts on the subject. I was still having trouble getting my head around the whole idea of transmediumship. I mean, was that really Queen Victoria's daughter speaking to us?
No, he's not in there. He's not in there. Just give John Lulu speak.
There is a problem with a lot of trance mediums and channelers, certainly on the west coast of America. I think there's a real issue with them because a lot of the spirit guides that come through and speak through them are of Native American descent,
Yeah.
or of Austro-Hungarian, or
very popular,
yeah. But with Native American descent, you'd expect them to start speaking in
native
Sioux
tongue,
or
yeah.
Mohawk or something like that, but it never comes through. It's always the stereotypical impression of
accent.
what a Native American would sound
Sure.
like, if they were speaking English.
Join me after the break as we go in search of a 400-year-old ghost. My mission today is to buy a digital camera. I've been told they're an essential part of a ghost hunter's kit. Apparently they're the best kind of camera for capturing images of orbs. I'm curious to know why, and I hope to find out. But for now, it's time to go shopping.
Hi, Dad.
How can I help you?
I just wondered if you could help me with digital cameras. Slightly odd request. My purpose is I'm supposed to take photos of ghosts. Is it a high resolution? That sounds like something I should be asking for. Has it got a flash or something?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can shoot it in the dark and then I can brighten up the image. That sounds perfect.
No problem.
And so, with the cutting edge of digital photography in my hand, I went off looking for a haunting to investigate.
Okay, so I went out and got my digital camera, and I then got very chicken about asking anyone if I could photograph anywhere. So I went down into my garden, so I thought, well, that's not too far to go. And I went down there and took some photos down there, and it's just like an orb fest. I don't know what that's all about. It's just orbs ahoy down in my garden. When that one with the loads of orbs came up, I did just go, holy moly, look at that. I'd like to rule out all logical explanations first. And then, I'll be open to other suggestions, really. Even if there's no logical explanation, I don't understand how we can suddenly leap to the conclusion that they are definitely something to do with spirits. Why is it not fairies, or, if you happen to believe in fairies, or UFO little offshoot ships, or... But I first want to know if it's, something to do with the camera, obviously, before I start considering other things.
I went to see Metrocolour, one of the biggest commercial processors in London, to meet photographic expert Derek Francis.
So, Derek is a photographic expert. What's your opinion on orbs? Because I'm really confused by this whole thing.
Right. I personally am very open-minded about it. I feel
Really?
that I feel that there's obviously something there which the digital medium is picking up.
I've heard the explanation that it's dust, that it's moisture. I mean, what's frustrating is there doesn't seem to be one good rational explanation for all of them.
Right. Well, the only thing really from a technical perspective is that if people have been obviously taking pictures for years on conventional film, as they have, and nothing like this has appeared so far, now, it's only logical to say that if you have a new media, digital media, then it may be sensitive to a different type of spectra, electromagnetic energy, what have you, that conventional film just hasn't been. When seeing a lot of pictures of orbs before, from a technical perspective, it doesn't seem to be flare or any optical problems.
So that would appear in a different way, would it?
It would appear in a different way in its position within the frame.
I mean, I
itself.
suppose what I thought was interesting as well is that you can take a photo and then there is one in one shot, and then immediately afterwards there isn't one.
Yes.
Which does that suggest there's not something on the lens, or?
If something appears, disappears, disappears, then it means that it's not necessarily controlled by the equipment.
Bolbrook Castle in Sussex was the childhood home of my psychic mentor, Angela Donovan. She grew up here with her twin sister and mother as permanent guests of the owners. All the time she lived here, her whole family was plagued by weird and terrifying supernatural experiences that she believes were caused by the ghost of a man who lived here over 400 years ago. Angela has agreed to return to the house for the first time since she was 18 to lay these ghosts to rest.
We didn't sleep in here for very long because it got a bit nasty. And I would be feeling that he was watching me. To know he was standing behind me, I could hear him breathing. I heard drawers and cupboards moving and sounds above me. And then I heard the sounds of his walk. And he walked along the corridor and he came down the walked staircase to the corridor that's on this level. And then he walked the corridor. And he walked purposefully, and I knew he was coming to get me. And I got down on my knees and I asked for the highest to come in and save me. There was a silence that was like death. I heard the engine of the car. My mother and sister were coming back up the driveway. And then I was aware that I could hear the birds again. This room is a room he came in every night. And comes in, I'm sure, every night. And he sits about here. But it makes me nervous thinking about all that I went through here.
It's 8:30 and the Ghost Watch is about to start. I've invited Kieran to join Angela and I on the night-long vigil. Kieran has taken part in some of the highest profile ghost hunts ever conducted in Britain, including Edinburgh Castle and Hampton Court.
We ought to have the temperature gauge out here to see if it's warmer out here.
Kieran and I knew no details about the disturbing hauntings here. Angela encouraged me to use my intuition to try and sense a ghostly presence, while Kieran had a more scientific approach.
So Kieran, based on your previous experiences spending the night in haunted locations, what are your expectations for tonight?
I'm very excited about being here. I don't exactly know the details of the hauntings or the reports or anything, but I gather it's a very haunted location.
And we've got all our equipment, haven't we, Kieran?
Yeah, we've got various things. We've got this laser pointer thermometer, which is going to be able to pick up temperature differences quite accurately. We've also got this triaxial ELF MG meter, which is essentially picking up magnetic fields. For two things: natural explanation, are there any high magnetic fields present, which may account for some people's reports or some people's accounts, but also to some extent, is there any fluctuation?
So it's the fluctuations that would be anomalous there.
If there's a lot of fluctuation, you could put that down to a theory of a ghostly presence. Also, there's going to be a lot of cameras around. There's going to be a DV camera and there's going to be quite a few other cameras.
And we've got our little digitals.
We've got our little digitals and various other cameras as well, so hoping to pick up some sort of photographic or film evidence as well.
What now? Yeah. Come on then.
And with that, off we went. Kieran was armed to the teeth with the latest spook technology, and all I had was my little digital camera and a profound sense of psychic self-doubt. Our task was to try and work out which of the castle's 30 rooms were haunted.
didn't sleep in here for very long because it got a bit nasty.
This feels strange. Yeah, wouldn't want to sleep in here.
And he sits about here.
It was really hard to single anything particular out. I mean, the whole place has got an atmosphere, without a doubt. I mean, I can't imagine if I was here that I'd ever feel like I was on my own. If I lived here, I don't think I'd ever feel the house was mine. Going by the guidelines you gave me before, it's difficult because I definitely did feel more a masculine sense than feminine, but I don't know. Like I said, it's hard to single out one particular room because all the rooms have got a funny atmosphere. The first one, as you go down the stairs, that definitely had a strong atmosphere, but it was really hard to tell if it was stronger than the others. If I had to plump for one, I would say that one.
That'd be room 100.
It had an oppressive atmosphere, and I don't know, there's a kind of feeling of being being watched, sort of.
Piece of cake.
Yeah.
No, I like.
When I went into that one, there was a sense of like someone looking, but almost in a not particularly, I don't know, in a slightly uncomfortable way.
My sister and I used to be watched and stared at.
Really?
In that room.
Oh, that's funny, Angela. It's funny that.
And it was very oppressive. I don't know if there's a better word. Now I'm dying to find that.
Yeah. Did you get
what you picked up?
Throughout the floor, there's an average temperature of about, well, it varies from, say, 13 degrees centigrade up to 16, 17. The only thing is, in room 100,
yeah.
Ta-da!
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 The ELF reading was the same, right? It was 0.5,
Yeah.
0.6. When we first went in there and put on the laser thermometer thing, it went, how can I put it in technical terms, wacko. It just went crazy. When you walk into the room, yes, it's colder, but when the meter finally did settle down, it showed a reading of minus 18 degrees centigrade. Came out again, controlled the meter, made sure it was correct in the corridor, it was reading 13, 14, and then went back in and the temperature reading was about 11 degrees, 12 degrees centigrade.
And that's about normal.
Kind of what expected. It was just unusual that out of all of the places where something different happened, it was room 100.
As I say, we're just breathing again just for relaxation, and what we're going to do is...
Angela had one last ploy to connect me with the ghost. Somehow, she was planning to take on its shape. Do what?
Anything you feel you're seeing, let me know.
Okay.
And I will let you know what I'm seeing. There will be a potential change in your face, and you're probably going to say that something's changed in my face. But it's going to be interesting to find out whether we can actually catch this on camera while we do it.
Go on. Yeah.
All right, so you've got to start breathing again and relaxing yourself. And it doesn't matter even if we laugh because of the humour in the mind at the time, or whatever, because that's all positive energy.
So whatever happens is fine?
Absolutely fine. And obviously let me know if you're not happy.
Yeah, well. Sorry.
Who did you see?
I don't know. Something funny happened.
Tell me who you saw.
I don't know. It just looked a bit peculiar.
You'll find that not only the face changes, that the clothes change, the body changes.
Okay, I'm really shaky. All right, if that happens again, I'll go with it.
Right?
I'm fine, yeah. That's really weird. That's really...
Are you all right with it?
Yeah, I'm
We don't have to
fine.
take it this far. Tell me the face, describe the face.
I don't know, just older, you know. But it was almost like there was an image sort of superimposed over you.
That's
rather
right,
than
that's how it works.
No, I just mean I don't want to fill in blanks using imagination rather than just from what I actually saw, because it was really a sense of a larger...
Person.
Yeah, person, and more clothes. And good heavens, it's happening again. So,
Still coming through. Just try and remember everything you see.
I'm trying.
It's very difficult to hold
It's
that.
coming and going. It's really
Well, yes,
funny.
it can't stay because you're not happy with it. Well, we'll just try it a little bit. If you're happy,
Yeah.
anything you see...
Tell you.
Yes. And breathe. And trust it.
Oh, jeez, sorry. I just kind of really kind of high forehead and really quite a wide face, really pale, and like curly hair. Is this making any sense?
Yeah, carry on.
Okay.
Colour?
It looked kind of light, but there was a kind of, I don't know, almost like a reddish tinge, not bright red though. Jeez, sorry, I've got to put in my contact lens now. That's all the non-blinking. Angela's, I don't know what to call it, sort of face-changing, staring exercise was a really interesting experience. It was like my image, the image of her in my eyes became cloudy, and it seemed like there were other images appearing almost sort of superimposed. I don't know what to make of it, because I don't know, I've never stared at someone in that way for that long under those circumstances. That's not to say that it's absolutely not a paranormal thing, but it's just to say that I don't really understand what it was, and I wouldn't like to kind of categorise it.
Join me after the break as I face my final challenge and experience my spookiest ghost encounter yet. Over the last month, I've been hunting ghosts in night-long vigils across Britain. I've had some strange moments, and I think I've learnt something about the rules of the ghost hunt. But today is Judgment Day, and I'm wondering, have I learnt enough about ghost hunting to get me through this, my final test? Well, now it's time to find out.
So Angela's arranged to meet me at this pub in North London. I'm not quite sure what the connection between ghosts and pubs is, but it suits me fine. I think she's in here. Hello, you.
Well, if you're happy, we're going to get started straight away, and we're going upstairs.
Angela was clearly excited, but she wasn't going to tell me what we were looking for. I was going to have to try and find out who was haunting this pub on my own, and I wasn't feeling very confident about it at all.
It's difficult though, because people live here, and aren't there their sort of
Yeah, but you're actually calling in from...
something else entirely.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
That is a being, a person who isn't and shouldn't be in the physical dimension.
The only thing I seem to be feeling at the moment is a sense of more sort of female than male.
Right, that's absolutely fine.
Okay.
I should write down everything you say as well, just for our own record, but I know this is going on tape. Eyes?
Sorry. This is me thinking I'm picking something up, but then wondering if it's just like my... I was thinking of a child.
Yeah,
but
that's right. The buts will be the end of me. The buts and the...
But no, all it was because there's all children's things here, and I'm wondering if I'm taking things with my eyes. I know. I had an image of like running about, like long swishy skirt when running about.
So you can walk around with that feeling. So you're not going to pick up on a plant or on a door. You're just going to just have a little walk around here, just that little bit of corridor, and then come back in. But try not to pick up on anything that's
actually here.
Absolutely. To glaze over. Could you just say, please would you give me your name?
Okay, if anyone's here, please would you give me your name? I keep thinking about like little and so I guess child or very small. I don't know, but no, there is a kind of childlike running about-y sort of exuberant feeling in this hall. Is that right?
You're doing well.
You're not going to tell me. Okay.
Trust me.
Definitely was the only image I had, like I said, was the skirt. So I'm thinking that the female energy was.
Just like the very first little name that might pop in.
Earlier, I thought I was thinking about like a letter E, but now I sound like
that's fine.
I feel like I'm saying
I need
loads
to
of
know
names.
everything that's going on.
Okay.
And I believe having got you to open up and tune in, what you've done is you've called in to this little girl who's going around swishing in her skirt and running up and down, because there's a good reason that she's still here in this time zone.
Was I right about little girl?
Of course you are.
No.
Yes. Of course you are.
Oh my God.
Where you've got to now is brilliant. Now I have no proof of this yet, but we will have it checked that Cecilia could have been the mother or aunt that looked after the little girl. I do believe the little girl's name begins with E. But this is who's been seen here and who's been running around the place.
That's really spooked me now. In a nice way.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Okay.
What we're going to do is let you take a photo, because we can ask her, and I'm asking her if she's happy to have a photo taken.
My hands are shaking. Okay. It's absolutely freezing here.
Yes, because she's here.
Seriously?
Yes. She's round you now. Emily.
It's Emily. Did you say you said Emily, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think that's how
I feel it is.
Okay. I'm absolutely freezing.
Yeah. She's literally in that spot. Oh God, it's coming my way.
I'm not quite sure what to say about that experience, apart from I've never seen or heard anything weird in my life, so I'm not one of those people who seems to be prone to that sort of thing. And so when I actually did feel cold, I'm still just thrown actually by the fact that the things that popped into my head turned out to be so specific. I don't know how that happened. I guess I've always been open to the idea that there were people's energies, residual energies, but that something could kind of interact or that you could feel it is just something I'd never really taken on board, and so now I've turned into a mumbling idiot as a result. So what you've actually just a full sort of physical.
Well, it was a day. It was before I even moved in here, and I was just sitting in a chair here. And just turned around, and there was a little girl just running up and down this corridor.
Really?
And I just thought, who's she? And it was a proper little girl,
solid
little creature, you know, so high with a little white dress on, little very Victoriana looking creature,
Right.
very happy. So I just followed her. I came up here, followed her, and went down the corridor, and she just disappeared. My daughter Caesar has a little imaginary friend that I've never really gone into details with. I just don't want to know.
But does it seem to be very similar to the...
Yeah, she says she's got a little friend. She says she comes every now and again and sees her and then disappears.
It was time to do some checking on the information I'd got from the old Queen's Head, so I went to the local history centre. But my first search didn't reveal anything, so I decided to try somewhere else.
So I'm here at the Family Records Centre, which is where they keep all the census records, because I thought it would be a good idea to have a look at the history of the people that lived at the pub, see who lived there, what families, and actually, most importantly, I really wanted to see if there was anyone by the names that Angela and I came up with.
Family Records Office holds hundreds of years of census records, every family and every house listed by street. I knew that the landlady thought the little girl looked Victorian, and I'd thought of the letter E, and Angela had said she felt the girl's name was Emily.
Oh, close. Okay. They had very ornate writing.
It wasn't long before it yielded results.
Oh, the Queen's... I think that says Queen's Head Public House. Charlotte Amelia. Does that say Emily? Well, it does say Emily. Are these ages? Emily, age 8. Gosh. In 1861, there was a little girl called Emily living at the pub who was 8 years old. So I've got little Emily's birth certificate, Emily Saltmarsh. We couldn't find a death certificate for her though. I had a really good look, but just records from back then are incredibly hard to sift through, and a lot of people didn't register death at all. So we don't know what happened to her. But it is interesting. It's really interesting that there was a little girl who lived at the pub called Emily. Weird.
Considering how many people have experiences where they see something that makes them think that ghosts exist, considering how many times that happens, and to such reliable people like the lovely lady who's the landlady at the pub, I think it's really hard to argue that these things don't happen. I think what they actually are, I still don't know. I'm really encouraged by the fact that there are people like Kieran out there in the scientific community who are looking into these things properly, and it makes me feel really positive about the possibility that one day we will understand all of this. I'm still a bit uncertain about orbs and what they are. There just doesn't seem to be anything that necessarily points to them being paranormal. What did interest me was Derek, one of the photographic experts, was explaining to me how digital cameras worked and how they don't just pick up light reflections the way that a regular camera does, but they can actually be affected by magnetic fields and by energies because of the way that a digital camera works. And that was curious because it suggested that a digital camera could make an image of something that wasn't literally physically there that you could see with your eyes. I was still feeling skeptical, and then this is kind of weird, because right where Angela said that the little girl was standing, and when she told me to take a photo, look.
Yes.
Next week, Jane ventures into the world of astrology. Can the movement of planets affect our personality, future, and even love life? Jane Goldman investigates again next Tuesday at 10. And spiritualist medium and star of Living TV's Most Haunted, Derek Okoro will be one of the guests on Loose Lips tomorrow evening at 5:10.